All right, we're live, up and kicking. Thank you, everybody, for coming into the Proud Masculine Wednesday evening live stream Q&A session. It's welcome everybody. Come in. We're gonna wait a few minutes and let a few more people pile in before we start talking. And so I'll make a few announcements beforehand. Patreon's coming along. I still have yet to have anybody from my community or subscribers give me a confirmation that they'd be interested in joining. I'd really like to see that before opening up, but I'm losing my patience. And I think I'm just going to open it up and start it and let it grow from there. It would just help that if I had a definite amount of subscribers, I could use that as my starting point and go accordingly. Because this is going to be more time that I have to make to tend to the Patreon, which is okay. But I will be putting up different types of videos than I would like I do my pop-in lives for my content on YouTube. This will be recorded sessions talking about more in-depth things about dating, sex, money, fitness, like things that you really can't discuss here on YouTube that are deemed as improper. I don't know what they deem it as, but they will shadow ban your videos and demonetize you, which I don't even think I'm monetized yet, so it doesn't matter. Cage Beast, what's up? Awesome to see you. So the next couple weeks, I have a few guests lined up. I think everybody's going to enjoy the guests that I have. I'm not going to give away who it is. You'll see when you get here. DT is in the house. DT on, checking in. Good. So, yes, so what I want to start doing with these, I got the rights to the super chat through the amount of hours and watch time and stuff I have now that's available to me and subscribers. I don't know all the criteria. Joel at Sobriety University, who handles all my stuff in the background. If you have anything you're doing with YouTube or social media, you need somebody to clip it up and post it, that's your guy. He's the one he's behind the scenes in this whole endeavor, my brand, and keeps it afloat through all this stuff. Trip Ace, glad you're here, man. Notice you had some jiu-jitsu videos in your channel. Have you consider making more? I have, but that's at the dojo and I need special attention and I need special permission from Sensei, who demands that he's there, and I don't always have that. Proud Masculine Jr., the fruits of my loin. Welcome, son. Glad you're here. He's probably working out. He listens at the gym. Doug, how's it going? Good, Doug. I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic, brother. How are you? How's it going with you? So anyway, about the super chat, if y'all have questions during my stream, run it through super chat and we'll stop what we're doing. We'll stop the stream in its tracks and tend to your questions and give you the best answers we can on the stream. Also, coming up, I'm putting a thing together that I was referred to this channel by a friend. Great. I'm glad you're here, man. Who's the friend? Do I know him? Or is it an anonymous? But we're glad you're here. Where you from, Doug? Anyway, back to the super chat thing. Throw your question in there and we'll address your question right there on air in person. I mean, in person, live. I guess, no, this isn't considered in person. But you know what I mean. We'll put your question, we'll get your answer and make it a priority. We'll make it a priority of the stream. Well, great. Oh, also, the upcoming next month through the streams, I'm going to do a giveaway, which is a 1-hour one-on-one coaching session. And the criteria will be go into the comment section, not the live chat, but after the video is up in the comment section, leave a comment. I'm from Florida. I'm going through divorce. My friend Steven sent your channel forward for some advice and information. Tough spot, brother. Been there, and have helped many men through divorces. I'm glad Steven sent you over, because we can definitely help you with that. What we have here right now is a small community of strong, like-minded men who are gathering to reinvent and level up themselves to achieve to be the most attractive man they can be. And I say attractive, I don't mean just wear nice clothes and fit. Attractive in every area, well-rounded, fully integrated male. So you're in the right place. Good starting place. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, so am I, dude. I hate to see my fellow men suffering. It really does. This is why I do what I do, because I've suffered, and it was only through finding a YouTube channel like mine that brought me into a community that saved me and gave me a whole new trajectory into life. After what was seemingly going to be an ongoing suffering, it seemed like it was going to be ongoing. I was never going to get out of it. And that's just how it feels when you're overwhelmed and you're in the depths, like you're in the quicksand. You know, it's viewed as hopeless. And I've been there, bro, in the darkness. And telling you, sounded good. We haven't had sex for a year. Last month, I found a condom wrapper between a mattress and headboard. Yeah. So, guys, let's jump off the show with that. I had something else I was going to talk about, but Doug has given us Dubs in the house. Salute, brother. The support for you. There is, Doug. There is. Maybe you can put in for that session. And I'll explain at the end of the show real quick how to go about doing that. What I'll do is every third week, pick somebody and get you information, and I'll get you on a one-on-one session. We can start working towards together. I can show you how to pull yourself out of that, recover from it, move forward, and become the best version of yourself. I don't know another way to put it, so I say the best version of. To me, that sounds a little cheesy, but it makes sense. The best version of yourself, because what most men don't realize, especially by the time something like this happens, like no sex in a year or divorce, you're not feeling the best. You don't really understand the potential that's trapped up inside of you. And the most importantly, you don't know the process to weed through all of the garbage that's stacked on top to release that full potential and actually live it. There's a whole life. How old are you, Doug? Yeah, that's a gut punch. That's a gut punch. So I was going to talk about something, but Doug gave us a good topic, and that's dead bedrooms, sexless relationships. 55. Oof. I'll tell you what, brother. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean your life is over. And if you're going through the divorce, it's just going to be a process. There's going to be a grieving process. There's going to be married for 20 years. I hear you, man. That's a rough one. That's a rough one. And guys, this is what I tell you about in my lives lately, and even here on this channel and some of our, lives here, my Wednesday night, about being like, you don't get a break, dude. We got to stay on our toes constantly as a man, especially if you're in a marriage. Because guess what? When you stop, she stops. You start letting yourself go. You quit paying attention. You quit dating. Even long before that happens, if you're not put together well enough or on the path and have a stable foundation, I was going to ask you that next about the kids. I made sure to be one of the kids hear it from. I was not going to let her badmouth me behind my back. Well, look, we'll get more into that. But, and this is why I tell you guys to work on yourselves now, especially when you're younger guys. And if you are older, if you're 55, Doug, it doesn't matter. It's never too late to start. but put yourself in a position where learn how to operate from the inside out. Make yourself the number one priority. Build yourself and everything around you. Put yourself in a healthy mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual position so you can vet people coming into your lives. Because, guys, there's nothing that can turn your life upside down quicker and harder and have such an impact as a dysfunctional wife or the mother of your children. That will turn your life upside down. And this whole society is dysfunctional when it comes to the nuclear family and marriages. It's almost frowned upon now to want to have a mother and a father and children at home. And so you got to build yourself into this formidable man who understands things, who can vet women, who can put their foot down, who can say no, who can say yes, who leads yourself, leads your life, leads your family. Because let me tell you something, men and women do not love the same. And I know that's this big lie, for lack of better words, lie out there that women are the romantics and the men are the stoics. And that's not the truth. Women and men love differently. Men love idealistically. Women love conditionally. And I'll give you an example. A man marries a girl at 21, 22. She's cute. She's fit. She's got a bubbly personality. Over the years, she ages. He keeps himself up. She puts on a few pounds, becomes less attentive. Sex drops off. And she doesn't really take care of herself. A little bit of a slob, borderline slob, just whatever. Always in sweats and a t-shirt around you. And the guy, we developed this, I don't know the scientific name, but I call it the wife glasses. Like, you'll still see that woman that you married and still be just as attracted to her years down the line. Because we love, when we get into this arrangement of marriage and this agreement, we want to honor this agreement through thick and thin, better for worse, till death do us part. And I'm not saying men don't fucking make mistakes. I don't want to get attacked by the feminazis and all the soft ass soy boys. Hey, men cheat too. Yeah, men cheat. Even that's different. We ain't going to get into that. I'm going to stick to my point. And that's a sacred bond to us. That's a sacred task, a sacred purpose from God to men, to be the husband, the protector, the provider, the mountain in the family, leader of the family, the kids, the wife. And a lot of men these days have grown up a little backwards about their position of authority and leadership in a relationship. And the tendency is and this is just the way it is naturally, that a man and a woman get together. A man is a strong leader who's indifferent. She's so attracted to him. Years go down the line. She's stayed by him. She proved loyalty, and they've been through some things together. They've bonded, maybe started a family. And naturally, as men, the way we show appreciation and thanks to one another is by granting things and showing appreciation through words and through gestures and granting. So a woman who's well-behaved and supportive and feminine and encouraging and all these wonderful things, she starts wanting to make decisions and start having to say so and things. So it's in our nature to say, well, she's been really good in all these areas. How can I reward her? So we start rewarding things by saying, okay, because they'll try to women always try to take control. They always want to get the upper hand in power. Until you give it to them, then they don't respect you for it. So this is why it's your job to be immovable, to build your mental and emotional foundation so strong. So you hold strong to these beliefs and principles, even in the long term. Because this is where the challenge is in a 20-year marriage, like Doug. You want to get laid? Get on a few calls with me. I'll have you getting more ass than a bus station toilet seat. That's easy. There's nothing to it. It's maintaining a long-term relationship, maintaining that attraction, the position of leadership, and keeping things in order day to day in life in a long-term relationship with a woman. That's the real challenge. And it takes grit, it takes fortitude. It's you got to make the hard decisions and do the tough things, but that's your job as a man. So over time, like, the women will start seeing you do it, and they're like, well, he does it, I want to do it. She'll start trying to take a little bit of the power and put a foot down, and, you know, all these type of things. What men say is like, you know what, maybe she can. She's been so good to me, like I would reward my friend for sticking by me through hard shit and always having my back. And we share this thing. And then what happens is, man slowly starts to relinquish this leadership and authority positions in these things. And women start to slowly take it. And this is not an abrupt process, gentlemen. This is a subtle process. They call it a death by 1,000 cuts. And before you know it, she's bitchy. She's wearing the pants. You're miserable. She's never satisfied. She's talking down to you. She's outright disrespecting you. And you just kind of scratching your head like, what the fuck happened? What happened here? Well, and this is why you need to know things before you enter into a long-term relationship, and especially a marriage these days. Marriage is not in favor of a man anymore. Marriage is just legally binding contract that only applies in one direction. And I hope you don't have to suffer too much, Doug. I hope you get a good lawyer and get yourself well informed and get your ducks in a row. And in a perfect world, divorces will be amicable. And people part ways peacefully under an agreement, like this just isn't going to work anymore. In a perfect world, there wouldn't be divorces, and you would work through what needs to be worked through. But if sex was the betrayal, there's no going back from that. That can't be worked on. It can't be worked out. If a woman cheats on you, she has made a decision. That is the ultimate form of disrespect to a man. She'll never think of you the same. If you go back with her, she will always think, she won't think, oh, this is a great guy. He's been able to look past my transgressions. What a strong man. Being able to work with me, and I'm going to be patient and tolerant and kind to him, and I'm going to right this wrong. That's not how she's going to be. That's not how women are. Women are like, this weak motherfucker, I just had sex with somebody else and he's going to take me back. Oh, what a sucker. You'll never get the same type of attraction and desire and sex from her again. She may stay out of a lack of options, but it's not because you're her best pick. And that's what a woman tells you when she steps out with another man, that she thinks she can do better. And if she thinks that, you got to let her go find out the hard way. And the only thing you can do is turn yourself into a top tier motherfucker and never look back. And that's a process. It's not an overnight. It's not a flip of the switch. It's a process. It's realistically about 1.5 years, 2 years of work to really achieve where you want to be internally, where you internalize these thoughts and ideas such as I'm the prize. I'm a fucking catch. And you also have these other realizations as you're going through this process and doing the work that there's a ton of women out there. Women, our standards for women are different than, well, women's standards are for men. And as men, we have it's not a complete savior complex, but we do have the tendency to want to help, save, rescue, rebuild, lead and guide and protect. You know, we have all these admirable qualities. But if you put that into the wrong person, you're just going to get taken advantage of and walked on. And like, you take a woman, a highly successful woman, like an 8 out of 10 on the attraction scale, 6-figure earner. You think she's going to date a busboy or a guy that doesn't have a car, or a guy who's making 50 grand a year, has a modest lifestyle? No, sir. On the other hand, you go take a wealthy man who's got his shit together. He'll go date a cashier, a bartender, waitress, a girl who works at the department store. Change her life, bring her in, share the wealth, protect her, and provide for her. So I got off track. Damn it. I was on a good flow. And then what she will do, of course, is she will do everything in her power to turn you into the bad guy. Women do not like accountability. Maybe behind closed doors, and even that's a stretch. And especially you get a group of women in with another group of women, they'll go find the group that lets them off the hook. You'll be the asshole. If you cheat on a woman, you're a dog, you're a piece of shit. Woman cheats on you, you weren't giving her what she needed. That's what they say. I wasn't get what I needed from you. That's just the way it is. Don't get angry. Did you know how it is? I called her out when I found out everything was my fault. That's how it is, Doug. I definitely empathize with you, and I am. It weighs on my heart that you have to go through this, as so many men have, and that doesn't make it any easier for you. But all I can assure you is, if you do the work necessary and handle this process with dignity and grace, you will come out better. Guaranteed. You can't lose. You're going to suffer a little bit. And the last thing you want to do is feed in to the lies and the drama. Let the truth come out when it's ready to come out. Let the dirt come out in the wash. But I mean, you found a condom, dude. That's it. That's dunsies. She can't, unless you got drunk one night and left it there on accident, but you haven't had sex in a year. You left that there a year and a half ago. There's no explanation for that. But do not expend any energy on trying to convince anybody, mostly her, that you're right, that you're doing the right thing. Don't explain to anyone. Become unapologetically selfish for this. Now, of course, you got your kids to look out. So I'm not saying neglect your kids' well-being. And I don't know how old your children are. But you see, this is what people overlook. People get so selfish and self-involved that they forget who suffers the most through divorces are the children. And this lame-ass excuse that women use, oh, I was bored, he wasn't giving me what I needed. They don't think past themselves. They don't think about how what they do can potentially affect kids, the children, and come to have a conversation with you about it and bring it out in the open and do some work on it. Seek some kind of help. I don't necessarily mean marriage counseling. There are other avenues you can take. I think marriage counseling is where marriages go to die. That's where one of the two people go in and decide that they're getting the divorce. That's where they go in and make the final decision. And especially modern day counseling, it's a farce. It was written to, my kids are older, late teens. Look, I understand they'll be fine, but this is going to hit them. I got a divorce with my son. He was 16, I think. And it had an effect. Keep them in the loop. Just be honest with them. Don't unload your stuff on them. That's not what they're there for. They're not there. Good. I would suggest you don't even consider taking that woman back. There's no coming back from this. There's no coming back from something like that. And you have no desire to rekindle psychology out of the equation, that's great. Now focus all that attention on building yourself into the man you want to be. Cage Beast. Doug, thank you. This divorce is taking out the trash. Hell yeah. Don't go back rooting through that. There's nothing there for you, brother. The energy you would spend trying to rebuild things with her, you can put into a brand new, better woman. Younger, hotter, tighter, loyal. First, you got some work to do. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you for sharing that with us. That takes courage, man. And I know where you're at. And I've worked with many men. And I've done the same work myself, having gone through a divorce, bad relationship, like all the things that I talk about and do here are battlefield tested. There's nothing I do or teach or guide and lead these men. I'm well researched, and all of my stuff is battlefield tested. This is not theory for me. I'm not telling you theory. I'm not telling you because I read a good book or saw a YouTube video about how to act if this happens. It's not like that. A lot of deep inner work. It's tough for a little while, but the reward is priceless. The little bit of discomfort you got to put yourself in to face and confront some of the things that need to be looked at for you to move forward and shed that old skin and that old idea of yourself, your old idea of love, the old idea of who you're supposed to be, and who that takes time, but that's necessary. You're never going to flourish. You can never solve a problem in the same space it was created in. And it seems like a really daunting task, but it can be really interesting and fun if you allow it. Like if you're willing to really dedicate yourself and put your nose to the grindstone and get after it, you can get results quicker than it seems. But you're in a deep hole right now. But I like what KB said. Think of this divorce is taking out the trash. And it's I like that. You DM'd me, huh, Sterling? I'll check when I get off the phone. I don't remember seeing anything. Oh, wait a minute. I did see that. I thought that was somebody trolling me. I denied your request. I'm sorry. DM me again, buddy. Tell me who you are this time. Don't just say, hey. Yeah, Sterling, you got to tell me who you are, buddy. You know how many chicks and stuff I get in there, and these, hey, would you be interested in building $1 million business in 3 days? Like I get a lot of that in my requests. Like it gets full. I'm just delete. Tell me who you are, buddy. Love is a scary game. All right, I'll see you, Sterling. Thank you, buddy. Love is a scary game. You put all in, and some still come up short. Well, look, that's true, but that sounds a little bit defeatist, Ed. That anything you want that's quality, you're going to have to invest in. You're going to have to invest yourself. And yes, you're going to have to take some risks. This is why you do the work. This is why you follow the principles. This is why you have a community. This is why you get guidance in life, so you don't make that mistake. So you know the pitfalls, you know the red flags, and you have the fortitude, the awareness, the confidence to not even begin to allow that shit in your life. When you change yourself as a man and you've grown and you've reinvented yourself and you've leveled up, most of the shitty people disappear. And you are going to attract the same level of person of where you're at. That's the type of people you're going to begin to attract. You're going to attract more women with integrity, higher class women who if they've had things to deal with, that they've dealt with them, that they're not afraid to take accountability if they make a mistake. They're willing to admit that they're not perfect and work on these things and work on the limitations and character defects. But I don't lump it all in with love is scary. Anything you do that has an unknown factor where there's some uncertainty is scary. That's a part of it. And anything you want to get something out of, you got to put into it. And then to the degree that you invest and put into it is the degree that you're going to receive back. Like, I don't believe in getting in a relationship if you just want to go toes in. You know, if you're having a casual thing and you and the ladies have an agreement that there's going to be nothing serious, you could just have fun, not get too deep, that's one thing. But when you're with somebody and you have an understanding that it's going to be an exclusive long-term relationship, I want to be all in. Like, what kind of experience is that to have a person that you wake up and go to sleep with every day and you're like standoffish and like keep the person at a distance? That doesn't sound like anything I'd want to be involved in. It sounds a little crazy. And when you show up in a relationship, you should be showing up to give. So you showing up to give, to fulfill her needs, and she's showing up to fulfill your needs and support you and give you what you need, and you're doing the same for her. How do you lose? There's no downside to that. The downside comes in at the human nature part. Learning how to navigate women's emotions and hormones and navigate your own shit when you have bad days and stresses. And there's a saying out there, I forget who said it, but I love it. I'll work on me for you, you work on you for me in a relationship. Now, obviously, I'm not saying go work on yourself to please a woman. That's not what I'm saying. But work on yourself and put yourself in a healthy position. At least get the trajectory, get the momentum going in that direction where you're working on these things consistently. And I guarantee you will attract a more attractive mate for you, a better quality woman. It'll happen. Trust me on that. I've done it. I've known scores of men who've done it. I was having a conversation with somebody the other night about from 6 years ago, the change that's taken place in both of our lives. And we look back and this is somebody I've kept in touch with for years. We still talk every so often and we talk about the same shit. We exchange notes. You ever heard that old saying, iron sharpens iron, brother? We're there to hold each other accountable, give each other praise, and talk about the process and the growth from where we were, what we did, and where we're at now. It's important. Kicked her out. Good on you, brother. Good. Step one, check. She's gone. Boot her ass. Treat it like she's never existed. Sterling, you don't have to put that on there. What did we talk about with that? With the virgin thing? You don't have to put that. Seriously. But hey, congratulations on the 2 days porn free. I love that. How do you feel? Are you feeling any better? You feel like you accomplished something? You're a little proud of yourself? I hope you are. What's Henry say? Love is like a fart. Not all of them stink, but if you have to force it, then it's probably poop. That's funny. Yeah, you definitely want to have to force love. Let it, and look, don't go into the illusion that there isn't work in there. It'll pass. You're going to be a little agitated just because you're breaking a habit, you're breaking a pattern. So when you get the urge to go beat your meat in front of the computer, pick up a fucking book. Read a book. Get the book, The Rational Male. I'll put it in here and read it. Buy a notebook. Start taking notes. Look at the things you identify with. Or get a highlighter. Highlight the things. Start reading a chapter a night. No, it's not free. Who's giving away free books? You might be able to find a version of it free on your phone to read, but not a physical copy. Sterling, what do you do for a living? Let me ask you that. So yeah, Doug, that's great. That's a huge step. There's a lot of men who don't even do that, or who are reluctant to do that. Or, I mean, I can't see you or hear you, but you seem like you are resolved, that you know that what you did was fucked up and that's going to sting, but you have the resolve to keep moving with yourself. You work from home as a data analyst. Do you live at home with your parents? And some of these things I want to go deeper on, guys. Like, especially for you, Sterling and Doug, I would love to go deeper into some of the other things that are involved. I can't do it on YouTube. And that's why I'm pushing a Patreon, so we can really get into the nitty gritty and talk about things. No, there's no shame in that. I'm not saying it's a shame. There's no shame in that at all. I'd say that's a great opportunity for you to stack money and start looking into other things that you don't have to worry about that. What age should a male leave at home? Good question, but that's a tough one. Look, nobody has followed the super chat thing. This is the last stream I'm doing that. But we already started, so I'm serious, fellas. Like, I get in here, and yes, you have to pay for Patreon. It's a membership. That's a tough one, because it depends on the situation. Like, are you living at home with a manipulative single mom who's narcissist and browbeats you constantly and makes you feel like shit about yourself, and in your business, and make things unpleasant for you, and like a codependent mother who makes you stay there and deal with her shit? Or do you live in a supportive household where family encourages one another, and you have a good, strong support group around you, and they're all about supporting your ideas and taking chances? Because through your 20s, you want to be building, you want to be trying new things. And, if you're going to make mistakes and have these little failures, which you always will you always have. That was my point, Cage Beast. Thank you. I just said it. To the degree you put in is with the degree you're going to get out of it. It's just it. Invest in yourself. I've said that before, Sterling, and I've said that to everybody. You are your biggest investment. Invest in yourself. Thank you. I was just about to get to that point, King. Make sure she's not making you a son husband. I know a lot of men who've suffered through that. I did growing up. I had a single mother who I was expected at 12 years old to be this. I couldn't be a child. I couldn't be a young boy growing up and learning. I was always under the gun and I was compared to my father a lot, who my mother despised. And I was expected to be the one in the family to make rational decisions and solve problems and be understanding and be all these things. I don't even know what the fuck meant. It's a son husband, where the woman divorces the husband, puts the son in the husband role, so to speak, holds you accountable for being the man in the house, which I do think there should be an element of a man in the house when a man is in there. But she'll hold you accountable for the sins of the father, for the things she doesn't like, then expect you to be the one, the emotional support dog of the house. But what she'll do, what single moms often do, is they'll take this boy and make him into this, who they perceive as this ideal man, who's actually later in life is dysfunctional and undateable. And she'll shame him for wanting sex, shame him for wanting to date, tell him you bring girls flowers and you listen to girls and you all the shit you didn't get from that husband, the Playboy guy or the Playboy guys you made bad decisions with, or the guy who knocked her up and never called her back, and turned that boy into that beta male who will just be disrespected and alone and miserable in relationships the rest of his life. And they will put that burden, here we go. Typically, single mother will make their son, typically the oldest, a figurative husband, making a child do stuff a grown man or a husband should be doing. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. That's it. What he's not telling you is it's a great explanation, incomplete, about the emotional and mental toll that she'll put on you too as well. The emotional and mental expectations. And it's like women have no problem doing this. And this is why I tell men that they expect a minor child to pay rent even though he's a teenager. Meanwhile, she had baby daddies who were 30 plus living off her, mooching and driving them everywhere for free. Yeah, that's an extreme example, but yeah, that definitely is one. And I know somebody who went through that. Tell you what, you want to see a lot of son moms? Prisons are full of them. And I don't mean that disparagingly, because these men value their mothers. But I've heard the stories. DT, $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. You don't have a question? I'm supposed to throw in a question with it, but thank you for the donation, man. My first one. I wish I knew how to take a snapshot. DT, $2 super chat. The Australian $2. I don't know what that equates to. That's it. First in line. Thank you, brother. And thank you for everything you do. DT is more than just a member here. He is a mod. Now, Sterling, we don't need that shit. Hey, look, that's your last chance, Sterling. Any more outbursts like that on here, you gone. You're not going to come in here talking to my people like that. Nobody in this chat. I mean, don't do that again. Yeah, thank you. But no. All right, y'all two don't get into a back and forth. I will handle that later. I'll handle that with you later, Sterling, when we talk. Again, thank you, DT. That was awesome. So, and what these women will do is turn this guy into the ideal man she believes that she wouldn't even date. Because she'll keep seeing the guys who pump and dump, or the guys who treat her like shit, that she'll still let come over, or the guys who don't give her attention, she'll still be available for them. I told him to do that, Sterling, because you're in the middle of the stream, and I told y'all the whole questions, and you're asking the guy about a Crocs being in style. I didn't know what you were getting at, but I didn't like it. And when I have somebody new on here, I expect people that are invited in here to treat these guests with respect and take the thing seriously. I told him to do that. And even if he did, DT has my permission and an understanding what I expect out of this chat. It's not for you to question. I do, Ed, vaguely. I think I remember you. I do. Vaguely, but I remember you popping up. So, and this is one thing that I've seen men suffer from is the son husband. Now to take an enormous toll on a man's psyche. Talk about confusion. What are some questions a man should ask himself to decide if he wants a kid or not, or should go child free? Well, I wanted kids. I think as men, we should have offspring. We should breed and have our offspring. Have somebody to carry, I say legacy, but that might be a strong word, but to populate, keep your bloodline alive. Kids that you can show and you can raise under your leadership as an example of how to make this world a better place, how to provide, how to protect, how to be a man, how to take care of yourself, and let that snowball from generation to generation. Now, maybe the question here is who you should have a kid with. Not every woman out there is a wife, buddy. Not every woman out there is wife material. And like child free, no, not in my opinion. No. If you have a healthy reproductive system, I would encourage you to have children. Build yourself into a formidable man. Get your money in the right direction. Get your body, brain, and emotions right. Get a relationship with God and have children. Multiply. I'm not sure, Sterling. I don't really go by style anyway. I wear what the fuck I want. I don't care who likes it or not. I don't keep up with the styles. I wear things that suit me. I don't know if this is the stream to ask about Crocs in, but all right. And if you, I don't know how engaged you were with the last stream we had with Tanner, but I think he went in depth about, how to go about picking your style. And personally, I don't like Crocs. I wouldn't wear them. Yeah. We'll get that on another one, Ed. So anyway, back to Doug's situation. That's rough. And what's going to happen is, and look, there is, as part of a rite of passage, I believe, in a man's life where you earn your manhood, and one of the obstacles, one of the rites of passage to overcome is a broken heart, right? Because that can be the best thing to happen to you or the worst thing to happen to you. There's two ways that can go. And let me explain the best and the worst. The best is she breaks your heart and you're crushed. You feel worthless. And I want to impress, and I haven't really impressed this on the Doug because he doesn't seem too unstable, but I have lost a nephew from his heart being broken by the girl he loved. He took his own life, self-deleted because of that. Never under any circumstance would you ever trade your life out for something temporary, especially to spite somebody else or to make them suffer or pay. It's definitely not worth it. And the harm, the wake of hurt and sadness and destruction that leaves behind is, there's going to be a couple of generations that's going to take to repair that. It's deep, it's real, it's tragic. And I ain't going to get into what happened after that because I just don't want to. It chokes me up. I don't like talking about it. Thank you, Doug. But best case, let me see. It's great advice. It makes you think about Donald Trump, LeBron, Kobe, offsprings who became great in dad skills, not thinking about horrible parents when there are many good. That's right. And you see, this is part of our purpose as men. This is a God-given purpose and task. One of our duties on this earth is to raise children, to breed and have children and raise them and teach them about God and teach them to be thankful and grateful for their life and what to do with it. And each generation gets a little better, a little better. My son is outdoing me at 21 than when I was at 21, and I hope he keeps going. I hope he leaves me in a dust. I sincerely pray for that he does, and I know he will. And that's what it's all about. Okay, best case scenario, you get broken up with, you're crushed, you're devastated. Your ego's bruised, you feel worthless. You're going through this unimaginable separation anxiety and pain and hurt. You can't eat, can't sleep. All you do is think about her. And you're just going over everything that you've ever done in this relationship. I mean, you in the fucking suck. And it hurts. You can't eat, or you're eating too much, or you can't sleep, or you don't want to get out of bed. It's all these erratic, this roller coaster of emotions, pain, anguish, anxiety. And then you start looking at yourself, and then you reach a point in the grieving process where you're able to just at least feel a little better, to start putting some things in perspective, not from a purely emotional standpoint. And you're able to apply some logic. Let's see. Yeah, you fucking better not. Good, man. Good. I love that kid. Stop. I'm going to read this. I will confess, the night after I drank myself to sleep, but made a commitment to let alcohol get the best of me this time. That's amazing. That is amazing that you would say that. And that's one thing I could have articulated better. That one of the ways we deal with this pain of rejection and betrayal is we want to self-medicate. We want to numb out. We want to take ourselves away from the situation just to escape having the pain. And look, first 2 weeks are rough. It stays rough after that, but not as bad as in first 2 weeks. Once that reality sets in, like, fuck, she's gone. And especially in your situation, Doug, where you have to think about and come to terms with the fact that there was another guy in the picture. And the tendency is going to be there for some self-destructive behavior, drinking, drugs, overeating. And this is a very critical time, because as men who lose their jobs, this is when men usually go through with the final solution. So I'm glad to see you didn't, Doug. I really mean it. But there's going to be some self-destructive behavior. Don't beat yourself up. If you need a week or two to cry it out, stay on the sofa, maybe call in sick once or twice just because you can't handle the pain of getting out of bed. And there's going to be, you're going to want to troll the social media and constantly check up on her, see what she's doing, who she's with, all these self-destructive behaviors that come with the initial stages of a rejection or heartbreak. And it's not the end of the world, Doug, but I mean, you're 55. I'm sure you had the wherewithal to think, all right, well, I'm not going to slip into this pit of despair and add alcoholism on top of what's already a potentially fucked up situation for a little while, only to make it compounded exponentially and make it a way worse situation for everybody. So you come through you at least hit a bit of rationality in that pit of despair. We can actually start thinking about things. And I recommend you get a coach right away to help you through this process. There's going to be a lot of impulsive, self-destructive, obsessive behaviors going on at this time. And that then you start looking at things for what they are. And the first thing that happens in this best case scenario and the heartbreak actually being the best thing that could ever happen to you, you start exploring, honestly, what was your part? What was your part in that? And being able to differentiate and see what you could have done better. Start looking at the things that need work, that need attention. Were you attentive? Did you complain a lot? Were you lazy? And look, not every time, you may not have a long list every time, but there's a list of something. I don't care what happened, who did what. As a man, you take accountability. You take responsibility for anything that happens to you in life. That's the only way you'll be able to turn it around. If you own that. Is there certain things that you've carried on from childhood, some kind of traumas or dysfunction that you carried into this relationship that pushed this person away? You start looking at these things, but then you're able to look at her part. Was she ungrateful? Was she selfish? Was she unappreciative? Was she a bad communicator? Did she not attend to your needs? Did she use sex as a prize for you, as a treat, as a reward? Was it a chore for her? It's important, but through this process, and if you're doing the work, if you're doing the positive things, if you're not participating in the self-destructive behavior, you're going to start finding things that put you back on track, that make you feel good. And it's these productive things that you stack, these little daily victories, these little wins that you aren't going to feel for a little while, but you start doing, you start working out, you start eating better, you start seeking help, whether it's through a good therapist or working with a breakup recovery coach like me, or doing some hypnosis or some subconscious healing, some EMDR therapy. You start doing these little things and reading, informing yourself, start learning about a woman's true nature, learning what it is to be a man in your life, developing your masculine core, your masculine center. And you start implementing these things, because right now you're motivated by the greatest pain you're going to feel, aside from, I'm not going to say it. So through this process is where you're going to start developing this new version of you, the version 2.0. We'll say 2.0 of Doug. But as you start doing that, it becomes more habit. You start to internalize these things, and it become a daily practice. And before you know it, you've invested, you've learned new hobbies, you've met new people, you've got yourself in shape, you've gotten help for the mental and emotional problems, you're spiritually tapped in. You start looking at other opportunities for work and passions and purpose. You start finding and chasing your purpose. And before you know it, you look back 6, 7, 8 months, and you've made a drastic improvement. And you're a different person. And you've moved forward. And, through that process is the process of reinvention, leveling up, the 2.0 version. And that's a short version of what the best case scenario looks like. Worst case scenario, you get broken up with, you're full of self-loathing, feeling sorry for yourself, blaming it all on her, talking to people who say, oh, you're a good guy, one day you're going to find better, and crying on everybody's shoulder, drinking to numb the pain, doing drugs, doing reckless shit, going out, blowing money frivolously because it feels good in the moment. Every chance you get, all you do is talk shit about her and, bad mouthing her to other people. And, you will accumulate the exact opposite of the first scenario. You will accumulate more fucked up shit, more fear, more of an inability to trust and connect and bond with somebody. You'll think less of yourself because your self-esteem will keep dropping because you're not doing esteemable shit. And what's going to happen is you're going to start dating the low-hanging fruit because it's safe. And then you're going to find somebody you settle with because they're safe. You really don't have nothing to worry about. She doesn't knock your socks off, but you ain't got to worry about her fucking around or leaving you. And you don't work on any of your own shit. So the same issues resurface in a new relationship. And you just repeat, rinse and repeat for the rest of your life. So breakups are a integral, important moment in a man's life. There's two outcomes you can get, and that's up to the person. So, yeah, it's something you got to go through. It's part of the process of growing up and being a man. Well, what are y'all talking about over here? Knock that shit off. Anyway. I think that's about it. We had an hour. Doug, thank you for dropping in, man. And I really do wish you the best. And keep coming in here. When I get this Patreon put together, I'd love to have you in there as a member. If if you're having a little trouble sorting through things, I'm not sure what to do next or what direction to take, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I also do packages. And no, that's not what I'm saying, Cage Beast. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's just the way they're going on and on about it. And I'm glad you came in, Doug. And I hope you got something out of this tonight. And I hope you know that long term, you are going to be in a better position. She's lost a good dude. And everybody else, thank you for coming in. DT, the big $2. Thank you, brother. I do appreciate that. My first super chat. And so with that, we'll close it up. And thank you, everybody, for coming in. I've been doing lives. I hope y'all see my pop-ups. Give me some feedback and some interaction on that. Yeah, and that's it. Upcoming, got a couple of guests coming in. And that's it. That's it. We did. Yeah, Doug, thank you so much for coming in, dude. I wish you all the best. Look, I have links in here. If you need to talk, if you need to get to me, you can hit me up through Instagram if you want to schedule a session. Or, I have plenty of content out there. And look, there's plenty of good content. There's another guy, Apex Mindset, a dear friend of mine, a past mentor, still a very dear friend of mine, who goes into the stuff in depth very well. But yeah, hit me up, proudmasculine.com. Go to the pricing, or you can just DM me on Instagram at proudmasculine, and we'll set you up from there. I can definitely help you getting through this, and especially in the beginnings where it's a little rough and there's a lot of confusion. And again, thank y'all, everybody, for coming in.